All right, well, I am briefly going to talk about performance capture technology. So I'm a software developer, and it's great fun to be up here with all these creative people. I've spent my entire career writing software in a little cubicle, and all of a sudden I've gotten really involved in performance capture. And as you can see, we decided at Digital Domain to make a digital version of me. It was kind of a punishment, I think. But it's been amazing. The reason we did it is because I work at Digital Domain, and anytime we need more data, I can go back and get motion captured. But it also gave me this amazing view of what it's like to get motion captured and all the different processes to go through. So in a brief amount of time, I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that those guys just talked about and give you a little bit of the vocabulary of motion capture and what we're actually talking about. So first of all, think about what a performance is. A performance is how the character looks, how the character moves, and then there's all that subtle stuff that happens sort of behind the eyes, right? You're actually seeing the acting happening. So how do we actually capture that? Well, first of all, it's actually a four-stage process. We're going to talk about 4 different pieces of technology, and the first one is appearance. Now, we just heard about getting scanned at ICT. What does that mean? Well, first of all, ICT stands for the Institute for Creative Technology, and it is a laboratory run by USC. It's an extension of USC, and they do a whole bunch of really cool research. So, as part of the process, I got scanned at ICT, and this is what it's like. First of all, you go into this huge dome. There are a bazillion lights, and also a bazillion cameras, and they're all watching you. And these lights and cameras go all off in a whole bunch of different sequences. But what you can do with that is capture how light interacts with your skin. You can even capture how the blood flows in your face as you make expressions. You don't see it, but it's there. So you're sitting in this thing, and boom, all these lights go off, and you have to hold an expression steady for around 5 seconds or so. But after that, you can see that we can create a model, a 3D model of my face that captures the real detail of my face. So they talk about photographs stealing your soul. This actually does. This is so cool. It gets down to the little crevices, and you make a whole bunch of different expressions in there so that you can see how your face changes when you make a big smile or make a big frown or whatever. You basically exercise your face inside that dome as all these lights are going off, and at the end of it, you get this highly detailed model of your skin and all the details of it. But it isn't moving. This only is how your skin looks. What about actually capturing the performance in detail? So we heard people talking about acting in a volume. That's what this is. And in fact, I made a little video diary of doing this. I went to a company called DI4D and sat down and recorded how my face moved. And we'll listen to me talking about it. So, and now, what we're going to be doing, or what we've done this morning actually, is recording performances of my face using this matrix of 9 machine vision cameras that are really high resolution. They're like 3K by 4K. And from that, we can get really high resolution meshes that track the face so that one point on the mesh stays on the same point in the face as I move my face. So now you can see that it's starting to look really cool, right? You can really see the motion of the face, and you can see a lot of detail. But think back to the stuff you saw from ICT. Well, the ICT stuff has a lot more detail. We've taken a step down in detail. And I want you to keep thinking about that, because the next thing we're going to go to is the dots on the face, which is even less detail. But here we have moving face that really shows how my face changes as I move from one expression to another. From this, we can build an entire model of how my personal face moves, which is really super extra cool, because we're going to use this data in conjunction with those dots to figure out how my face moves whenever I'm doing anything. It's really neat. So let's go do that. Let's go to performance. And this is the stuff you see all the time, the dots on the face. But you know what? There's only about 100, maybe 150 dots on the face. And you think, wait, we're trying to capture the truth in acting. How are you doing that with 150 dots? Well, let's first of all look at that. First of all, you have to put them on. And I wanted to talk about this a little bit. They use really, really good ink. It's a pain in the butt to get that stuff off. And you have to sit really still because they put them on in very particular points. The reason they do is because you're building a correlation between the dots on the face and that extra data that I captured. And once we do that, we can calculate the 3D location of the dots on the face. And you can see it's kind of low resolution, but see, we've tied it with that high resolution stuff. And actually, you can see the detail that we got from ICT pasted on top of that. So all of a sudden, we've got something that looks just like me. We have started to actually capture the performance of me. This is super extra cool. Now, the next thing is, well, we've got to do this on set, right? So when I was doing that, wearing the spandex suit and the dots and everything, I was in a motion capture stage. The motion capture stage has 160 cameras that are always looking at you. This is great. It's got a lot of power, but it's sort of removed from the rest of the motion capture stuff. So it sure would be nice if we could actually do this on set. So this is from ILM. There's some great video of them doing, in just a moment, we're going to see some stuff on ILM from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that came out a couple of years ago. The whole movie was motion captured for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So you can see, we've taken all this technology and put it together. Those actors, we have a model of how their face moves. And we have technology that can take how their face moves and transfer it to any arbitrary character. So I'm not going to explain that because it involves a ton of math. But we can do really anything to this. And that's motion capture in a nutshell. This is kind of the state of the art of motion capture at this point. Really high resolution appearance capture, very fine scale detail in motion. Oh, one last thing I wanted to talk about. You might be thinking, why don't you just do the high-res detail when you're doing the motion capture? It's hard. You have to be sitting in that chair. You can't move. You can't even move your head when you're acting like that. It requires a certain special skill to do that acting in that kind of realm. We're trying to get rid of needing to do that. So high-resolution facial detail, performance capture using dots on both the body and the face, and then actually taking that out onto set where you can just interact with actors and get your characters in the moment.